In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 military swords from history. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. It's no secret that they've also been hacking, stabbing, kicking, and simply wreaking havoc on each other since man had the ability to form stone and metal beginning thousands of years ago. When did the first fight with a knife break out? When it produced the second blade? Over the ages, swords have been the best choice for the battlefield, the longer version, and many have a scary reputation. It was not uncommon to build a concept or change a current instrument to maximize destruction against the day's defenses such as shield or armor. With the times, a sword's efficacy shifted and was not resistant to fashion signals. In their respective nations, various areas of the world had their own opinion of what was best for the strategies used. But make sure the aim was the same to inflict as much harm on your enemy as possible. Here are the top 10 military swords from history. Before we begin, why don't you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so that you never miss any of our videos. Let's begin. Number 10. Koa Sword, Pacific. Polynesians and Hawaiians developed the koa to use the natural resources available to them and to take full advantage of the frightening reputation of the inhabitants of the ocean that fits their mythology. What better way to do it than to make a sword out of shark teeth? You were not only battling a warrior wielding a shark tooth, but the spirit of a predator from which the teeth came, a double whammy. Honestly, while it might not have been all that realistic, this may be one of our favorites, very imposing and wicked looking. Number 9. The Roman gladius, most of the known world. For 800 years, the gladius ripped an empire out and policed it. The style, according to some historians, did not even come from Rome. The efficacy of this simple short sword used by the Celtic mercenaries who fought for and accepted Hannibal as their own was shown by them. Although if it were sharp enough in close quarters battle, it could cut off the limbs of an opponent, the Roman gladius was used a lot as a thrusting tool. Medical treatment, not being what it is today, was sometimes unable to treat a severe thrust from the sharp, large blade. Number 8. The estoc sword, medieval Europe. Broad, needle-like blades with a very concentrated target were estoc swords to get through chain mail and plate armor with deadly effectiveness. Sometimes two-handed, with a powerful thrust, they could puncture and separate any armor. For full impact, you must grip the weapon tightly and throw all your weight behind it. You could count on it to maim and disable, if it didn't kill on the first thrust. These blades were so successful that they were adapted for hunting and were very common. Far more dangerous than shooting bears, boars, and deer by other means, it allowed the hunter to get up close to a wild beast and kill it with a single thrust, proving his ability and bravery. Number 7. The katana, Japan. It was the preference of the samurai and was a sign of social status, rather than a feared weapon in films, books, and video games. Dueling and close-quarter battle dominated the day from 1100 onwards. The slightest pause in your weapon drawing could prove fatal. So, for hundreds of hours, a trained samurai will practice both drawing it and attacking an enemy in a single move. However, the samurai had their reign cut short by a government ban that attempted to curtail their power and authority, and a law was passed in 1876 that only former samurai lords and police officers were permitted to carry the sword in public places. Knowing the prestige of this famous sword, the katana continued to be worn and wielded long into the Second World War by officers in the Imperial Army of Japan. Far from being just an ornament, it has been used in combat again. Above all, due to the sharpness a master might place on the blade, the sword was valued and revered. Number 6. The kilij, Turkey. To maximize strength in the slashing stroke, the now iconic look was originally created by Turkish swordsmiths. In Turkish, it literally means sword. It performed so well that it was embraced by most of Central Asia and also in parts of Eastern Europe. In the double-edged tip, the hidden lay. It blinked out at the very top, helping to make the end of the weapon stronger and more effective. In a single slash, a professional warrior could use a kilij to cut through human bone. Turkish warriors also liked the sword's intimidating appearance, believing that it made them look both more terrifying and more regal than their enemies. Number 5. The Ulfberht swords, Viking. Of all the Viking smiths' arms, those made by Ulfberht were the most desired. They were so powerful that it was feared that a warrior wielding one would be a demigod. The way they were forged is what makes these swords so fascinating. The arms were produced by heating iron to a temperature of 3000 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Here is the kicker, that before the Industrial Revolution, some 800 years back, technology did not become commonplace. A what? What? The crucible steel they made meant that they were flexible and virtually unbreakable, very solid. Moreover, they would have been lightweight and would have remained sharp longer, making some fighters appear superhuman. They were reverently buried with their dead owners, rather than being handed on, granting them elevated status in the afterlife. You have not ceased to be a warrior in Valhalla. Number 4. The Khopesh, Egypt. The Khopesh was considered relatively lightweight and easy to wield thousands of years ago. Only on the outside was the curved blade sharpened and would have been used to trim, cut and bludgeon an opponent. It was also thick enough and strong enough to beat you to death like a club, literally. At the same time, the hooked shape would have allowed a soldier to disarm his opponent in one single move and then attack him. With his Khopesh by his side, several pharaohs were buried, and this form of sword continued to be seen in hieroglyphics for a few thousand years, even after use had stopped showing its value in war. Number 3. The Jian, China. This was thought on the battlefield to be a more gentlemanly weapon, as it could be used as the need arose for cutting or thrusting. The right cut or stroke for the job ultimately makes it more humane in a way. Several warriors have one as their key weapon in the stories of the Taoist immortals. It was more versatile than others, but it may not have been as effective or as heavy as other historical swords. It could not only be used for thrusting and stabbing, but was suitable for cutting as well. Its double edge and easy looks misled many opponents, and underestimating the many tactics that could be used with it, they paid the ultimate price. Number 2. The Katzbalger, Germany. Pikemen and archers would sell their fighting skills to the highest bidder during the Renaissance, which was fine until things got tight, and then they pulled out their short swords. As it was crudely called, the cat gutter may have come from the fact that certain soldiers covered their blades in scabbards made of cat skin or had to fight as a last-ditch attempt like cornered wild cats. The name alone gets a mention on our list either way. The soldiers will use the sword in several situations to cut the legs of their enemies, hack them off, and then finish them off. Number 1. Winner, the Miao Dao, China. Amazingly, and against all odds, this sword was so common with Chinese warriors that during World War II, some even took the sword to battle. Although it may have been no match for the modern ammunition of the day, as Japanese soldiers discovered at a high expense, the sword is deadly close-up. Because of the way it resembles a sprouting plant, the name means sprout saber. It is similar to a military saber or cutlass combined with a katana or scimitar, a rare combination of weapon styles rolled into one sword that makes almost any combat style possible. The longer hilt meant that with two hands it could be wielded, while it was light enough for a soldier to strike with one, making it one of the most powerful swords ever invented. And it was also used to kill captured enemy forces, in addition to being used in the heat of war. What do you think of our list? Which of the sword you like the most? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications before you go. Thanks for watching.